Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Swoonsisters Society, the podcast where two sisters discuss the most swoon-worthy moments in books, movies, TV shows, and real life. I'm older sister Laura.
I'm younger child Caitlin.
I feel like we've never identified like which one of us is older or younger. I feel like it's obvious, but maybe it's not. So
I don't think it's obvious. Girl, you look young.
No, it's obvious. I don't know if it's because how we look, but maybe how we interact. I think it's obvious.
Yeah, and also our energies. Like you keep us on the right path, and I derail us.
I have like older child syndrome. Like,
you do.
Oldest daughter.
You
do. Okay, so today our episode's gonna look a little different. We're gonna be talking about Ali Hazelwood. Her four main books, her four novels, right?
Yes.
And we're going to be ranking them in order of our most favorite to our least favorite, mine and Katie's.
Yeah, so we're excluding her novellas, which is the Loath to Love You series, which I actually read and I love them. So we're excluding, and then we're also excluding Check and Mate because it's a young adult romance and Laura hasn't read it. But I did read that one, and I'll include where I would rank it with my rankings at some point in the video. Yeah.
So the four books that we're gonna rate today is Thelovehypothesis, Love Theoretically, Love on the Brain, and Bride.
Yes.
Because we haven't read her new book that's coming out this week, but we'll read it and then we'll update our ratings after. All right.
I'm so excited. Yeah.
Me too. Okay, so I guess we'll start with you saying your number one.
Your number one.
And then you can say your number one, and then I'll say where that lands on my list, and then we'll talk about that book for a little bit. So,
gosh, okay, yes.
I already know your number one.
My number one is so obvious. It's Thelovehypothesis. I mean, it was TikTok famous for a reason. She did everything right in that book. She hit every mark of everything I needed. Adam Carlson is everything I ever needed. Like, literally the whole, like, I could see it being Adam Driver, like, Kylo Ren, like, energy, like, oh, I was down bad crying at the gym for him. So good.
So I put in my notes that book was practically perfect. It was just, it's exactly what you said. She hit every mark. It was the perfect rom-com. It made me laugh. It made me squeal. It made me go like, like that.
Me too.
Yeah, it was really cute. So that's your number one. It's my number two.
Number two?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm dying to know your number one. Okay. Oh my gosh.
I feel like it's my number two because while I did think it was perfect, I loved, I mean, the whole book, you know that he's the guy from the bathroom, obviously. And
yes,
you know he's in love with her even though she doesn't. And it's like, it's a really cute, I like a book, and I know this is something you don't like. I like when the characters get together a little bit earlier than not at the end, so I can see them together in the book. And in this book, they got together so at the end. Like it's all build. The whole book is build.
Okay. That's what I love, though. I love the pining. Okay, no, the fact that... Spoilers for this whole video, by the way, because I'm going to just say things that happen in the book. The fact that when, like, she was his crush, and, like, that first scene where she kisses him randomly, like, it's not just a random kiss, like, his crush randomly came up to him and kissed him out of nowhere. Like, he was swooning and squealing on the inside, even though he's all, like, on the outside. So, like...
No, and that part where, like, because of the kiss, he goes... he's, like, talking to her. He's like, you didn't kiss me? And she's like, no, I didn't. And he's like, okay. He's like, well, I'm going to file a Title IX.
Yes.
Like Ali Hazelwood makes me laugh out loud. Like, her books make me laugh while I'm reading them.
Her style of writing is so... She's one of my favorite romance authors because her style of writing is just so like lighthearted and fun. Like when I read one of her books, I really feel like I'm just taking a breath, fully relaxing. Like I could fully immerse into it. I know what I'm getting into. Like I don't care that all her books are the same formula because I want that. Like I need that formula. Like I just need uh somebody who's down as frick for the main character and who will do anything for them and is protective and sweet and in love with them secretly the whole time, but we're supposed to question it, but we're really not questioning it because like we know.
Something else that she does in all of her books is that, I don't know if you've noticed this, but the girls will be like before they meet the main guy in the book, they're like, oh, I've never been like physically attracted to anyone, and
oh my god, yes.
That
like,
aspect
really
doesn't
date.
even that aspect doesn't even interest me. But all of a sudden they meet this tall Brody, like, or Broody, I don't know how to say that word. This tall
Brody. Who's Brody?
They meet this tall Brody scientist who, like, by the way, the scientists also always don't have a lot of experience, but are magically amazing in bed when they're with the girl.
Oh yeah, they're all like, I don't really date, but her, she's gonna be a distraction. And I'm like, yes. Oh.
Yeah, okay, so the love hypothesis, like top tier, Ali Hazelwood, so good.
Some of my favorite moments that I feel like make it my top one. Just the fact that we know like he's down bad the whole time. Like I love that. I love that he takes her like to Starbucks and just buys her whatever she wants every single weekend. Like it's his honor. Like he loves doing this and taking her to buy these drinks. And then he's like texting her at the airport and it's like a little like frap that he buys. And he just like tries to connect with her. He literally is going to switch jobs just because like low-key just because like she's moving somewhere else and he wants to be near her, and he's like, there's some hiking trails I could show you. Like he's just like her puppy dog. Like he is so into her. And okay, and when the whole thing happens at the conference and she's crying and he's like kneeling down and like wiping the tears from her face and he's like, who did this? What happened? Like what can we do? And then he takes her to like get sushi, carries her back to the room. They have their whole moment. And the bonus chapter from his POV. Oh, it's so good.
What is that, like chef's kiss?
Yes, it's a chef's kiss. It's a chef's kiss.
Yeah, like she made a 5-star meal for sure.
Like, yeah, and like this doesn't exist. Like a freaking dude who is brilliant and like everybody looks up to him. He's gorgeous. Like, you're telling me that he's like, no, nobody notices me. I just have the same crush on this one woman that I had one talk with in a bathroom, like, years ago. Like, what? But I'm buying it. Like, I'm there for it.
Honestly, it's so well done that, yeah, I buy it too. Fake dating moments. Oh, so cute. The sunscreen. This is what I'm saying. The whole book is pining. And I loved it. I just wish I had a little bit, because that part that you're talking about at the conference, they don't get together until the end. And when he finds out that at the restaurant, when he finds out that it was his friend that said all that stuff to her, and I imagine him like slamming the friend to the wall, like,
yes,
he
gets aggressive.
And that's the first time that he says, like, the woman I love, don't you ever think about the woman I love again. I'm like,
oh, that moment. Oh God, yes. I'm literally like squealing just thinking about this. Like, it's so good, Laura.
It's so good. And while I was reading this book, obviously I would read it and then put it down and go about my normal life. In my normal life, I would be thinking about them.
Yes.
So that's the mark of a good book. Yeah. Actually, do you remember when you read this book? You were in the middle of ACOTAR series. You were in between ACOMAF and ACOWAR.
Yeah.
And you read this book before you finished ACOWAR.
Yeah, because I was in a reading slump after Akomath. Like, you expect me to go from the grandeur of Akomath to like just the stuff in Akawar? Like,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
not as saucy. I'm sorry, it's not as good. I don't want to give anything away from the series, but like, Akomath is the best. So
I
like,
just don't know
I
how
needed
you.
something to take me out of the slump. If
Yeah.
you need something to take you out of a reading slump,
Oh,
any Ali Hazelwood book will do it like so fast. The Love
yeah.
Hypothesis, especially, like everybody that I recommended that book to, they're like, I read it in a day. Like,
Yeah.
it was that good. Do you think The Love Hypothesis would make a good movie? Because everybody likes to fan cast it. I feel like it'd be like it would not be a good movie. Like, it needs to be a book.
Um, it's interesting that you say that. I think it could be a good movie. I think it has the potential. Uh, I think they would need to add some stuff because it is a lot of it, like nothing really happens.
But that's what I like about
But
it.
it's really good in a book. But that's what I'm saying. Nothing really. There's a lot of inner monologue. Ali is so good at the
Yeah.
inner monologue, and that doesn't really come across in a movie. So I feel like they need to add like a little more stuff, you know, for it to be a good
Yeah,
movie.
for sure. And for Adam, either Dev Patel or wait, what's his name? Yeah, for Adam, either Dev Patel or Adam Driver.
It has to be Adam Driver. That's who he
It
is.
doesn't have to be Adam
I
Driver, right?
guess
I mean,
it
it
doesn't.
was kind of based on Adam Driver, but I could see Dev Patel. Why do I just want to see Dev Patel in a romance? Because I say
I
that he'd
don't.
be a good recent.
This one. Okay, do you want to know my number one?
Yes.
Because Love Hypothesis was my number two. Okay, my number one, I think this is going to be controversial. I don't know. So I just like skimmed them, well, kind of reread them all over again in preparation for this episode. And my number one is Love on the Brain.
Love on the Brain?
I knew that was
I
gonna be
really like
controversial.
Love on the Brain. Love on the Brain is like when you finish the Love Hypothesis and you're like, oh, I wish I had more. It's like the same thing in a different font. It's literally.
Yeah, that was the perfect way to describe it because he's also a man who saw a girl, became
Mm-hmm.
obsessed,
Yeah.
is in love with her. But
Yeah.
I love the added thing of that he thinks that she's married the whole time.
Oh, yes. I love Levi. He's a
I love
stand-up
him too.
person. He's literally Adam. Like, he's the same character.
He's a little different. He's like because he's not as grumpy. Like Levi is very personable and can talk to people. I feel like Adam's a little
It's
bit
true.
more grumpy.
No, you're right about that. But Levi's grumpy as hell with B.
Well, at the beginning, but then
Because she's an inconvenience to him, and being
yes.
around her, she's too attractive. I won't be able to do my work. How can I do my work when this beautiful girl with piercings and purple hair is in my vicinity? Oh, her shoulder. Like, I can't.
I love the whole like you've got mail nod in this one too. Like that they interact back and forth between their Twitter accounts, but they don't know that it's them. I love that.
I thought that was so cute because he dishes in that like so much about her. Oh my gosh, the things he writes where he's like, oh,
He's like, I wish
I could.
the things that I've thought about her, I wish I could like press her up against a wall. And it's literally like he doesn't know it's her.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. The whole time he's like, she's still married. And like, B's like, who is he talking about? What's going on? It's like, obviously it's you, bitch. What other woman is he talking to? Like,
no, she does not even like get it. And honestly, like
I'm like, you are literally a genius. Can you figure this out, please? Like,
but it's
oh my
so
God.
obvious to us. But think about it. Like if you're talking to someone and they're telling you that, like you're not thinking it's you. Like, what are the chances? So it's kind of realistic.
And I feel like Levi's just like a freaking sweetie. Like, she like stays at his house. You get a little bit more of their story.
One of my favorite parts in this book is, first of all, when he first finds out that she thinks that he hates her. Like, I don't know, it's such a specific part, but she's like, oh, so you're not trying to sabotage me for the usual reasons? And he's like, the usual reasons. And she's like, yeah, you know. He's like, I don't think that I do. And she's like, yeah, that you hate me. And he's like, B, I don't hate you. Like, I love that part. And then I love when they go to the conference and she runs into Tim and Annie, her ex best friend and her ex fiance. And he's like, realizes
Oh
that they're not
yeah.
married. I love that part. It's so good.
Yes. And then they go out and get like drinks together. That's so cute.
Yeah. And after that, they actually get together and start kind of like dating here and there. And that's like the thing I felt like the love hypothesis was missing for me. Like just that seeing them in a relationship type of thing. I love that. And
Yeah.
they do have a little third act breakup, like a little one. It's like, it doesn't even last a whole chapter. So I thought it was good.
It's not so bad. And like he's so sweet for her and down bad for like she calls him because she gets locked in a cemetery while jogging at night. And the fact that he literally like goes, picks her up. She forgets her cow's key, so he's like, you could stay at my place. He got a nice place. And like and he just wants her there always. Like in the message he sends, like when they start dating, it's like, as long as she'll have me. I'll have her like in any capacity. Like it's so sweet. The whole thing with him being close with his I guess ex, but who was like more of a friend because it was more like his best friend's
Wife.
wife who he died, and now like he helps out with like babysitting her kid and like all this, and like the kid like likes B. Like that whole thing was weird. I was like, this is unnecessary. But
I actually kind of like the wife of the best friend with the kid because I like the interactions with B and the kid. I thought it was really cute because like I don't see it as like his ex. I see it more as like it was his best friend's wife. So it's really like a sister-in-law, I guess is how I saw it in my head. Because they
yeah.
focus too much on the fact that she's an ex and it's like,
No, me
well,
too.
not really. Yeah.
Dude, what was that? This guy literally came in like sticking the place up and stuff. Like I'm like, this in NASA? This is so extra. This is some Anna Huang shit.
I loved it. I loved it.
I knew you'd like. Of course, this would be your favorite book. Now that I'm looking back,
I loved it. And then Levi has to save her from getting shot. The best.
Oh my gosh, yes. And she get shot?
No.
She ends up in the hospital.
No.
Oh, she just goes to the hospital.
Yeah. No.
For something else.
She faints.
Because she faints all the time.
Yeah.
She has a problem.
Yeah.
Dude, that one is good. And like the pining is fire. The pining is so good.
Yeah. Okay, what's your number for that one? That's my number one. What's yours?
Love on the Brain is my number 3. Actually, yeah, it's my number 3. I was really in between 2 for my number 3 and it was really hard. So I'm like, but yeah.
Okay.
What's the love hypothesis for you? It was your second. Oh, okay, fire. So Love on the Brain, love hypothesis. That makes sense.
So we have your number 1 and your number 3. We have my number 1 and my number 2. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is Bride.
Really?
Yeah, I loved it. The only thing that makes it like the only thing that takes it down and there's just something that takes it down
a notch.
We think we're so funny. It's so funny because like Ali Hazelwood is like into that shit. This girl's a freak, which is like no judgment, all respect.
No judgment.
But it's not my thing. I can't.
It's not. Okay, so Bride is my number 3.
Okay, so we're like right on par with that one. I thought it was so good. Like I honestly think everything about it was done really, really well. And she got me at the end because like you know, I was expecting her regular,
Dude, she
like,
got
he's
me.
down for her the whole time and they're mates the whole time. When she puts that part where Misery literally confronts Lo and is like, I know we're mates. Like, this has to be that. And he's like, no. It got me. I was like, wait, are they not? Did she do this? But then they were. So I was like, okay, that's how it had to be. Like, come on. It was good.
Yeah, I agree. It was so good. And again, like, it's an arranged marriage, which is like one of my favorite tropes ever. And you know from the beginning that they're mates, like, it's pretty obvious. But the other thing that I loved about this book is that it had an element of like that, the mystery the whole time of her friend's disappearance. How did that happen? Who did it? Whose fault is it? I love that. In the whole book, I was like thinking, like, yeah, who did it? Where is the friend? Is she dead? Is she, you know?
I'm glad that you like that part. I just read through that and I was like, when do we get more of Misery and Lo? When do we get more of Dude, but they were really cute. And like, I love how Ali Hazelwood, like, even when she writes like these characters who were like serious and like leaders and all this, like, they have great personalities. Like, I thought Lo had such a fun personality. He was so sweet, you know, he was such a good big brother, like, and like he was so good with like the little girl, like, he was just a sweetheart. And I love that. I love when they bond over peanut butter.
So cute. One of my other favorite parts is when they're on the roof together and like just talking about really like nothing, just their lives.
All those, yes, I love that. And he like opens up to her a little bit, and it's obvious that like he feels so comfortable around her, and like he's surprised by how great her personality is and how well they met. The insights we get into what he's thinking at the beginning of every chapter,
oh yes,
were so good.
So good, so good.
She ate with that.
I agree. She did. It wasn't like you didn't get the dual POV because she hasn't done that yet, but it's like so good when you get to see like what he's thinking. And there's a lot of steamy moments in this book without being like full on, you know, smut. Like the airplane when he has to put his scent on her. I loved that part.
I was like, dude, I was reading it and literally like I had to put it down and be like, this is like hot. Like, why am I feeling like this from like somebody sucking someone's blood? But I am. Oh wait, no, the airplane scene is when he has to like
sniff her. But after that, then they get caught in the study and she is sucking his blood.
No, but I swear, in the airplane, doesn't she suck his blood for like a second?
No, it's not until the study. In the airplane, he just sniffed her from behind and like licks her, I think. Yeah, it was so good. When they talk about the knot, how do you imagine it? Because I have something crazy in my head.
How do I imagine it? I don't want to imagine it. I just... Dude, like, I'm sorry. Like, okay, no judgment to anyone who, like, likes to read, like, monster romance. Like, whatever you want to read in your free time, that's on you. That's up to you. Whatever you enjoy, like, enjoy it. If it brings you joy. But I will say, like, it's not for me. That, like, I'm just like, what is this? Why can't he just have a regular... Like, it was too much for me.
There was enough conflict without that being part of the mix. Why
I don't think that was part of the mix for conflict's sake. I think that people like that.
Oh, okay.
They liked... Y'all are freaks. Yeah, we've already known that Ali was a freak since the Thelovehypothesis, when Olive said, I don't know if I could handle it. And he goes, what does he say? He said, you could take it. Or something like...
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Oh my god. She ate.
Do you wonder if she'll do a second book? Because at the end of the book, like, his friend Cohen is obviously mates with her friend Serena. No?
She might. I like the world that she made. I thought it was fun. I thought it was interesting. I thought she did a good job tackling a vampire novel. It was super fun. And it was still her. Like,
Yeah.
I was scared that it was gonna be like super serious and dark from like when I first started it, and then like she still made it fun and funny. She's like, she's like that class. She makes her characters like classically quirky, like they're
Yeah.
always super quirky. But I like it.
I like it too. It just works out well. Okay, so I guess our number 4 is the same, obviously, because there's only one left.
Yeah, which is like I thought it would be higher for you. I'm surprised.
No, I still love it, but I think I figured out why it's not higher for me when I went through and kind of reread them a little bit. So when I finished the Love Hypothesis, I went straight to Love Theoretically, and I think I was on such a high from the Love Hypothesis, like I needed another hit, and Love Theoretically was that other hit. And so when I read it the first time, I loved it. And I still do love it. I still do love it. But in comparison to the other books, it doesn't exceed them. I feel like, for me.
I agree. And I feel like there's like a lot going on in Love Theoretically that's like working against like the main character, Elsie. Like, first of all, she's doing the whole escort thing, and she basically gets hired by Jax, who's like the main guy, his brother, to like fake date. She does like a fake dating business. So she's like fake dating his brother, and like so like he thinks that she's his brother's girlfriend, and he's like seen her around, and she says that she's a librarian, but like he also has like that pining thing where like he's always staring at her like when they're at family functions and all this stuff, and he's like, oh, it's my brother's girlfriend, so I shouldn't, or whatever, which is like kind of like, okay, I thought that was like a little weird, honestly. And then like, so when he first meets her, and like she's not a librarian, she's a physicist, not a physicist, theoreticist. Yeah. I don't know, I'm not smart, okay.
She's a theoretical physicist.
Like he's Ali, you're smart. Like, girl, good for you. But like when he first meets her, he's like, oh my god, so are you lying to my brother? Like, what's going on? Like, there's already that animosity, which is like good for the book. But then at the same time, like, she's trying to get this job that he's like gonna mess up the odds for her, and like there's like that whole thing going on where she has to give these presentations and she has to impress them. So I felt like there was just like so many elements like before, like, coming into the way of their romance, which is like, the writing it's fine for some people, but it was just like a lot for me. Like, it was like too complicated.
And he's like the guy who wrote that article that pretty much like undermined her whole field, and her mentor hates him. So there's that going on too.
Yes, that's that going on too. I forgot about that. Yeah, like there's so many like different elements to like their relationship, where it's like, what are the odds that he would be this guy, that she's also fake dating his brother, that he's also the guy that's supposed to work to hire her. Like, it was just like a lot. También, the guy cannot sit through Twilight. He doesn't know cinema. He's done. He's cooked.
I love the fact that she's obsessed with Twilight. Like, it was so funny. It's you.
The way that you were Sloane from King of Sloth, I am Elsie. Because she also has this thing, which is like, I feel like I didn't like this book as much because it gave me real life anxiety, because I could relate too hard to a lot of it. She like changes her personality based like on who she's with, because she's like a huge people pleaser, and Jack sees that, and that's me as hell. And he's like, I just want you to be real with me, like, tell me what you want, tell me what you like, which is nice, but I feel like he's a little too much like trying to fix her, like trying to fix her all the time, and like, oh, I know what's best and how you should be, and like a little bit of that's fine, but like there's literally like parts of the book where she's like, oh, he held me back like a child, or like something, and I'm like, like, I don't like that stuff. I'm like, I don't know, a little bit too much trying to fix her for me.
He just like, he wants to like really take care of her and stuff. So like when I reread it, I'm just like, this is like, I liked it. And there was so many cute moments in that book too, actually. Yeah.
least favorite Ali Hazelwood book is still, like, I still love it even more than most romance novels.
Yeah.
Like, I love everything this
Same.
woman writes. Like, I still love this book. And yeah, I love Elsie. I love, like, it's so funny because, like, you know when you're reading a character and it's like, it's literally me. Like, the girl on the front cover had, like, my color hair, and I literally have the same dress that she has. And I was like, it's me. She wrote about me.
When they're at his house and he literally buys like the special edition DVD box set of Twilight, and she's telling him, you didn't have to do that.
Bro,
streaming.
like, tell me that this is not me. I literally even have the special edition Breaking Dawn
with the piece, with the
prop.
The prop. Yeah, it's like, it's rich that this is your number 4 coming from a girl who had an Edward Cullen cutout in her room.
Cullen cardboard cutout, and it literally was terrifying. It was him like this.
Yeah.
I can't.
But what I will say about this book is if I was judging the books based on the covers, this book has the best cover. Honestly.
Right? The cover's so cute.
Yeah.
It's really cute.
It's my favorite.
I don't know why. I like the cover and the color. Yeah, me too. It's so funny how these books all have like little cute cartoony covers, and then you read it on the inside and it's like smack my ass. Then like push me against the wall. You can take it like a good girl. Like, and it's like, oh,
his not.
Didn't realize that's what I was getting into. His not. Dude, can I just say that she literally, you know how in different stores you can get different like versions of the book with like bonus content. So like sometimes they're little essays, sometimes they're like different POVs, and based on if you buy it at like Target, Walmart, whatever.
Yeah.
So the Walmart version of Bride has some bonus content, and it's titled Fan Fiction, Monster Romance, and More That You Ever Wanted to Know About Knots. And I'm like, you're right. This is more than I ever wanted to know.
I didn't even need to know it to begin with. The last thing that I want to do is just say our ratings for all of them. Can we do that? Or
yes.
Okay. Okay, so let's start with your number 1, The Love Hypothesis. What's your rating?
5.
Same. 5.
Your first, my second, Love on the Brain.
5.
Oh no, my second was Bride. 5.
Love on the Brain. 5.
5. 5 for me.
Bride.
4.5.
4. Solid 4 for me. Love Theoretically.
4.
4. Same. Yay.
And I'll rate, she also has a book that is a romance. It's a young adult romance called Check and Mate. It was really cute. Like, Laura, I think you would like it.
I'm gonna read it.
It's much more of a slow burn. Like, you get usually in her romance novels, like, at least every chapter, it's just, like, straight to the point, straight to the romance. Like, you're not getting too much of the people's lives outside of the romance. Like, we're getting what we came for. Check and Mate is a lot more of just, like, about this girl's life. She's a chess genius, and not as much romance. Like, a lot of chapters go by without her love interest. So because of that, I'm gonna give it like a 3.5, but it was still really good. The pining was still good. The romance was still cute. It was very cute for a YA. I liked it. Yeah. And then her novellas I also love, and we can talk about those maybe one day, but they're so good. Like, especially Under One Roof. Oh, it's so good.
Okay. I gotta read them. I do.
You do. Like, come on. I will. So, yeah. And then we'll be reading Not in Love, which is gonna, the day that we're filming this right now is June 9th. So it's coming out in like
2 days.
Yes.
2 days. I'm excited. We'll read that. We'll do an episode on Not in Love. Thank you guys for joining us for this episode of the Swoon Sister Society, the podcast where two sisters discuss the most swoon-worthy moments in books, movies, TV shows, and real life. See you guys.